All right, listen up. This is a Code Ninja security advisory for CVE 2026-24423. I need your immediate and undivided attention. Let me be crystal clear. Ransomware operators are weaponizing this as we speak. This isn't theoretical. If your mail server is exposed to the internet, you have to assume you are already a target. And we're seeing double extortion tactics in the wild. They're stealing your sensitive data first, then they encrypt your systems to get a second payout. The window to patch this without consequence, it's closing fast.
Okay, let's dive into the intelligence. The whole point of this disclosure is to give you immediate, actionable intel for mitigation. We're forcing the fix to protect the perimeter.
Here are the facts. We're looking at CVE 2026-24423 affecting Smarter Tools' SmarterMail product. The impact is unauthenticated remote code execution, and that CVSS 4.0 score, a blistering 9.3. That's critical. You don't need credentials, you don't need special access, you get full server compromise. It's a walk-in. So, what's the blast radius? It's significant. This hits all SmarterMail builds before 9511. We're talking small businesses, managed service providers, hosting companies. They are all directly in the line of fire. Smarter Tools' own data suggest a potential attack surface of 15 million users across 120 countries. This is huge.
All right, pause. We're now going to establish a communication link. This is standard operating procedure. We need to make sure you get real-time threat intelligence going forward. First, subscribe, and you have to enable notifications. This is your direct channel for future advisories. It's not about vanity metrics, it's about your operational security.
Second, I need you to hit like. Think of it as your acknowledgement of this briefing. It confirms the signal is getting through loud and clear.
And finally, report in. Comment below with your patch status. Are you patched, or are you still vulnerable? Your report helps us and the entire community gauge the real-time blast radius of this threat.
Okay, communication link is established. Good. Now we're moving to the threat protocol. Let's dissect the anatomy of this exploit and see exactly how it works. The root cause here is CVE-306. That's a missing authentication for a critical function. It's basically the digital equivalent of leaving the front door to your server room wide open. In this case, that open door is an API method called ConnectToHub. It was never designed to check who was knocking. And here is the kill chain. It's brutally effective. Step 1, the attacker sends requests to that unauthenticated ConnectToHub API. Step 2, they trick your server into connecting back to their malicious HTTP server. Step 3, that malicious server replies with a carefully crafted JSON payload filled with operating system commands. And the final step? Those commands execute on your system with the highest level of privilege, system. It's game over. All right, we understand the threat. Now for the most important part, the remediation protocol. Let's lock this down. Your primary fix is non-negotiable. You must upgrade to SmarterMail Build 9511 or higher, period. Now, if for some operational reason you absolutely cannot patch immediately, you have 2 emergency workarounds. 1, take the server off the public internet. 2, use a web application firewall, a WAF, to block access to the vulnerable API endpoints. And while you're doing that, you need to be actively hunting for signs that you've already been hit.
So, what are you hunting for? You have to assume you're compromised and search for these tripwires. Look for any unusual outbound HTTP connections from your SmarterMail server. Scour your web logs for post requests to this specific API endpoint. On the server itself, monitor for any suspicious child processes being spawned by mailservice.exe. And finally, check for any new scheduled tasks or user accounts that you don't recognize. We'll close out with a quick note on disclosure ethics. Look, a public advisory like this is a necessary action. When a flaw is being actively weaponized by ransomware groups, defenders on the ground need to know so they can protect their systems. Coordinated disclosure forces the fix and protects the entire community. And let's just review the timeline to underscore the urgency. The vendor released the patch way back on January 15th. It hit the National Vulnerability Database on the 23rd. Then, on February 5th, CISA added it to their known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, which is basically a giant red flag confirming active attacks. The federal deadline to patch is February 26th. The clock has been ticking for a while. And it's crucial we credit the security researchers who found this and practiced responsible disclosure. That's Watchtower, Code White, and VulnCheck. Their work gave the vendor a chance to create a patch before this became an even wider catastrophe.
That concludes this advisory. Go patch your systems, stay secure,